said the children of Israel would abide many days without an image. When we came off of when the Renaissance happened, they gave us this image. So color does matter. So when we read the Bible and it gives us because you asking about this flesh. So yes, I say it does matter. Because why would they change the image if he really looked like this according to the Bible? Why? When you read the Bible, it describes Christ more looking like this than it does that. Why would you change the image if this don't matter?
It's matter.
Now, because you don't believe that you don't believe none of that, so you don't believe that Christ was black. You don't believe that, do you? You don't believe that God was black. Okay, let's get it. He believes Christ was black, but you don't believe God was black. So now, remember what Peter asked. He said, what does the Father look like? He said, have you been so long with me that you have not seen? Right? Come on. Yeah, get that real quick.
John chapter 14 verse 9. Jesus said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not seen me, Philip? Known me, Philip.
Right?
He that hath seen me hath seen the Father.
Christ said, if you seen me, you seen the Father. Christ was black. So what did the Father have to be, right? Let's get that in Daniel 9. I mean Daniel 7.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
Look, brother, he said the Ancient of Days did sit. We're talking about the Most High God right now. The Ancient of Days did sit. If you a spirit, can you sit on that bench? That means you got to have a body, right? So it said the Ancient of Days did sit. Now we're going to get technical, right? Because this Bible is all technicalities, right? We're going to make sure everything is right. We're going to break down every single word. Come on.
Whose garment?
Whose what?
Whose garment?
In order to put on an article of clothes, what do you have to have? You got to have a body. In order to put on a garment or an article of clothing, you have to have a body. Read.
Right. Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head.
Oh, the what?
The hair of his head.
Read that one more time.
In the hair of his head.
They're describing God's hair.
That's right.
The hair on his head, read.
Like the pure wool.
Like the what?
Like the pure wool.
Like the what?
Pure wool.
Like the what?
Pure wool.
Pure wool. Pure wool. What nation of people on this earth today, you can look at a comparison right now, have natural woolly hair? No, look at the comparison that you have right now, brother.
Oh.
Do he have woolly hair?
I would have more than that, yeah.
They don't have none. What do you mean wool? They don't have any wool.
This is what I'm saying.
Read that again.
Like the pure wool.
So guess what? God was a black man. Christ was a black man. King David was a black man. Solomon was a black man. The Jews were black.
That's right.
Huh?
As in God is like a human, like a man.
Yes. Give me Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 13, I believe it is. Read that. I'm going to show you. Read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 3. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods.
Right.
Let them know how much better the Lord of them is.
Right. The Lord of them, which is God.
For the first author of beauty hath created them.
He said the first author of beauty have created them. Now let me get Genesis. Chapter 1 and verse 26, I believe it is.
Metaphor or analogy in the Bible at all?
Read that now.
Metaphor, analogy.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 26.
He said, for the first author of beauty created us. Read.
And God said, let us make man in our image.
In what?
In our image.
So guess what? We were made in God's image.
That's right.
We look like the Father. The Father looks like us because we're his people. You have to understand that. Until you understand that, none of this Bible is going to make sense. Give me Psalms 111, verse 10. Until you understand that, you're not going to understand this Bible.
Are you wholly corporal? Are you wholly material?
What are you talking about?
It's the totality of what makes you human. This flesh, this thing right here. Is this the most important aspect of your being?
No.
The fleshly aspect.
No.
Romans 8:6.
Right? It's not. So again, this is interpretation.
No.
You are assuming that to have been made in the image of God focuses primarily on this material.
Yeah, you want to know why? You want to know why I say that? Yes. Because what did our oppressors do when they conquered us? Because remember, you had the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were ruled by dark-skinned people like us. Then you had the Renaissance. And what did they do to the images? Whitewash.
Right.
Whitewash.
Right.
Let me get
God creating us in the image.
You want to know why? Because give me Hosea chapter 3. I'm going to show you why. Because God said there's a reason.
Hosea chapter 3 verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image.
And without a what?
And without an image.
It said the children of Israel would abide many days without an image. When we came off of when the Renaissance happened, they gave us this image. So color does matter. So when we read the Bible and it gives us because you asking about this flesh. So yes, I say it does matter. Because why would they change the image if he really looked like this according to the Bible? Why? When you read the Bible, it describes Christ more looking like this than it does that. Why would you change the image if this don't matter? It mattered to what? It mattered to power. Because now I got a question. When a white cop kills a black person, what do? We riot, we protest, Black Lives Matter. What do we do if you killed me? What do our people do? We go back about our normal living. Oh shit, that nigga dead. Too bad. He must have did something.
Right. Bring it out.
You know why? Because we think they are God.
That's right.
We see this image and we think they are God. That's why they changed that image. Because if we had this image, we would see the Christ in you. I wouldn't be I'm generalizing now. I would not be so inclined to kill my brother, beat up my brother, to steal from him. Those are the things I'm talking about. So the color does matter.
Right, color matters. But just because the oppressor decided to manipulate images and focus on the material body to
preach another Jesus,
to cage, to manipulate, and to brainwash, does not mean that what the oppressor chose to focus on is what was the most important thing to God in creation.
Christ said himself.
I'm gonna show you because I'm gonna show you what you said. Christ is about to explain. Read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4.
Paul is about to say it through the Spirit of Christ. Come on.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus.
That preacheth the what?
Another Jesus.
Preacheth the what?
Another Jesus. Whom we have not preached.
Whom we have not preached. Read.
Or if you receive another spirit.
Or if you receive another spirit, because with this Jesus comes, homosexuality is accepted. You have to celebrate Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Come on.
Or if you receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted.
Because with that image comes a completely different gospel than when that image came. Read.
Ye might well bear with him.
Meaning ye might well bear with him means leave him alone.
But you keep turning, right?
How?
You turn to focus on the flesh. You turn to focus.
You asked a question.
And you turn to focus.
You asked a question.
And my question was about Genesis. My question was about why do you all believe that in Genesis, when they talk about created in our image, that God said, you know what? The image, the likeness of God that's the most important is my physical anthropomorphic being.
You want to know why? I answered your question because we just read it in 2 Corinthians. But if you don't believe that, hold on. I'm about to answer your question. You want the answer or not? Yeah or nay? Do you want the answer? Yeah or nay?
Are you going to answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the reason why we know that and why we focus on that, because if God or if Christ decided to write about himself or have himself written about, why would he put his color in there? If it wasn't that important, why would he write in Daniel why would he write in Revelations about his color?
How you're jumping? I'm
jumping. I just answered your question.
I never said color. I never said body. I never said physicality. It didn't matter. Right? I never said it didn't matter.
You asked us why we say what we said in Genesis. I just told you.
I asked, and number one, you responded with a rhetorical question. Number two, I said, why do you think that in Genesis, when they emphasize in our image, why are you interpreting that as primarily only with this and not in terms of notions of free will, not in terms of creativity, not in terms of the spirit of the living and loving God?
How can a man understand his own way?
Because there is no free will.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna show you.
All right, so
I'm gonna show you. No. You asked me a question.
But you're jumping.
See, look, he don't want to hear the answer, people. He asked me, why do we say this? I'm trying to give him an answer out of the Bible, and now he says I'm jumping. Now he says I'm jumping. Read that, bro.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord.
Read that again.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
Come on.
How can a man then understand his own way?
So guess what? You don't have no free will.
Okay.
So that's out the question. What other answer? What other question you got?
Why are you stressing in Genesis that the image is our corporal body and not our spiritual likeness?
Because you got to understand, we can't accept this. This is the reason.
I'm not asking you to accept that.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to accept any of those images.
Okay.
But
that's part of it.
In the image of God, therefore, it has to do with skin complexion and bodies and limbs and all that stuff.
I'm going to give you the other aspect now. So now we got the physical aspect. Now we're getting ready to get the spiritual aspect, which is God's laws. Read that.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
Remember the what?
Sabbath day. To keep it holy.
Now this is the other image that we were made in, right? He said keep the Sabbath day. Do you keep the Sabbath day?
I don't.
So what's the point in going back and forth? If you don't even keep this, why do you ask then? You see what I mean? No. Because you're saying this to make it seem like we don't have an answer. And then when we give you the other answer, you say, well, I don't do it. So what's the point?
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.